General Flynn, can you just put in perspective? This is not a group of good citizen protesters in Minnesota. We're at war, right? It's quite obvious. What exactly are we up against, sir?
What the Washington, D.C. establishment needs to understand, we are facing a hardcore and a hardened Marxist ideological group of people that is larger than most people understand. They are well-trained, they're well-resourced, they're active. This is not, Democrats versus Republicans. I beat my head against the wall on this kind of issue all the time because people in the political establishment think, well, we have better ideas and better policies because we're Republicans. Bull. This is a war. These people see it as a war. What we just learned and what they just learned is they can get away with attacking a church service, right? They just learned that they can do it because they just did it. And the DOJ walked away from this Don Lemon decision, right? So, they just learned that they could get away with it and they're going to do it again. And what they're learning in Minneapolis, which is ground zero again, because remember, this is 2 blocks from where that woman was killed. That was George Floyd in the summer of 2020. And we saw what happened in the summer of 2020 with no action, with no real consequences. We've got to come to grips with this.
You know this, and you guys, you wrote the book, 5G warfare. You identify and understand we're at war. Part of it's an information war, but the other's taken to the streets, and they're organized with media. They've got Hollywood. They've got low culture with them. They're financed by outsiders. 2 of our best field commanders are Andy Ngo and James O'Keefe. These guys are fearless. From Portland and Seattle to Minneapolis, they are in the streets all the time. They gave one of the most significant warnings that anyone can get, and the White House better embrace this. Both of those guys have said, they've been on the streets and they said, you do not understand the spiritual element of this from their side, that these Marxists, right, these neo-Marxists, they are atheists and they hold this as their religion and they're hard as nails. And you can tell that. And they're not going to retreat. You're not going to reason out because the issue of the revolution is the revolution. There's nothing you can negotiate with them. Nothing you can negotiate about the Somalians or about the corruption. That's not it. It is the revolution to take this country down. And you've had a warning now, and that's why your tweet got me. It's a bitter pill to swallow. We have to embrace the fact that we're up against people that are just as committed as we are. These are not summer soldiers for their cause, and their cause is evil and it's demonic.
Yeah, 2 things very quickly, Steve. And these are Saul Alinsky Tactics, Rules for Radicals 101, right? The issue is not the issue. It is the revolution, right? That's what this is up against. That's what we're up against. The issue is not the issue. It's not like underprivileged people or disenfranchised. They don't give a about that kind of stuff. The issue is not the issue. It is the revolution. That's what their cause is. That's what their religion is. The second thing, and this is sort of a dear Mr. President, right? I think that the president, in order to get a better sense of what it is that we're up against, he needs to form like a people's council. And we mentioned a couple of names already here, like a people's council. And he needs to bring them together quickly and get advice on what it is that we are facing, because he's not going to get it from the bureaucracy inside of Washington, D.C. I'm sorry. He's just not going to get it. And because they're part of the problem. And in fact, many cases, they're going to be fighting back, slow rolling and doing the kinds of things that we've already seen, whether it's Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, even the Department of War. But for the audience and for the people of this country, this is a revolution that we are involved in. And these are Saul Alinsky. Read the damn book, Rules for Radicals.
Yeah.
Read the 5GW book that we wrote. That's the counter to it.
That's the exact same thing you see in the streets. They understand Trump and the MAGA movement is what stands between them and total victory and taking over the greatest country in the history of mankind. Because they're bringing all their forces to bear. They're converging on a target. They say, look, if we can defeat these guys in Minneapolis, we can break their spirits. War is a process, and we're at war. Anybody that doesn't understand that, just get out of here. I don't want to, any of these guys in D.C. showing President Trump, well, you're down 10 points with independents. Do not get it.